Good boy. Thank you. You're such a good boy, Benny. Thank you. Now, today we're going to be showing you guys a special treat. I'll do my best to introduce you to it. It's a bully stick. Please understand that I won't be able to film the entirety of this video in one sitting, and it will be a combination of a few different videos because of how this is used in a few different ways, and the length of time it lasts, and a few other factors. So, similar to how, like, in the turkey and a few other ones, we've done longer videos that are over multiple parts, this is another one that's going to have to be that way as well. So, I'll just show you for the moment what I'll do the best I can here. Here, let me see if I can get a better look at this here for you guys. This is a jumbo bully stick, 18 inches. You can get ones that are as long as, I think, about 3 feet. But those are more difficult to find, and these ones are a little bit cheaper, basically. It's about half the price of a full-length one, sort of thing. Personally, I prefer the full-length ones for Benny because they last a lot longer, and they're more effective for their other uses. But in this case, this is what we've got for today. When I get my hands on some more really long ones, I'll show them to you. I'm also looking to get my hands on ones that are braided to be really, really thick. But this is what I've got right now. So, like I said, this is a jumbo bully stick, and it's by Dog Chews. Sorry, here's that's upside down. Nature's Own Dog Chews. So, it's one of the many brands. This one is already odor-free. However, some dogs don't like the odor-free versions very much because they really get a kick out of the actual odor of the product. So be aware that this might not work for some dogs, but they all are pretty much the same. However, the odor-free, and in addition to not transferring said odors and fats to other products, like your furniture and stuff, or carpet, the other versions that aren't odor-free, etc., can sometimes transfer odor, or stains. So either it's best to give it in their crate or in otherwise supervised locations, or stick with the odor-free if the dog's totally cool with that. But regardless, yeah, this is BB. He's going to be our model today for this particular toy. I know, it's so exciting. He loves bully sticks. They are just some of the greatest things in his minds. Yeah, so I'm gonna get hit him for a little bit to chew on, so you guys can see a bit about how long this lasts to the chew. But be aware that when it's initially started being chewed on, well, it's still totally bone dry, it's a lot harder and it takes a lot longer to get through a relative amount than if it was, once they've chewed on it a bit and they've gotten it soaked in their saliva. So one technique to make these treats last longer is to give it to the dog for a bit, let the dog get going with it, and once the dog's gotten to the point where he can kind of eat it a lot faster because of the progressively more moisture being absorbed, take it away, let it dry completely. Once it's bone dry again, let the dog play with it for a bit, and that will give you at least 2-3 times as long with the treat. But each individual session won't last as long. So, if say you're looking for something like Benny is going on a flight, hypothetically, and it's going to be an 8-hour flight, and I'm looking for something to keep him occupied as long as possible, I will bring a bully stick, and I will bring a raw frozen bone, and I'll get him to start with the bone, and before we get onto the plane, I'll have had him strip all of the potential meat or soft tissue off the bone so that it's clean before he takes it on the plane. And then he can chew on that bone for most of the flight. And then about halfway or so, I'll take that away, throw that out, and I'll give Benny the bully stick, and between the two, that would potentially give me enough entertainment and engagement for him to be alright over that long a trip, kind of thing. So, you know, teach their own in the different circumstances. In a situation like this, I'm only trying to occupy him for a short time. I'll get much more value from this by removing it from him periodically to let it dry out and continue using it another time. But you'll at least get to see what the experience is like when just handing it to the dog out of the package, how long like X amount will last for from a first chewing session on, based on, you know, X amount of time you've got into it. The other advantage of using multiple, sorry guys, and taking it away and using it multiple times like that is it gives you a good opportunity to have the dog enjoy something, but still in a reasonable, safe fashion take it away, bring it back, take it away, and have to do so in a positive, healthy way that can succeed at making the dog more confident and secure overall. So that's another good piece of resource when dealing with particularly treats that like this that will last longer than, say, a pig snout or a chicken foot, or even hypothetically a trachea or something. For example, like the dried beef innards that basically they look very similar to bully sticks. There's basically three different general versions of this kind of product. There is bully sticks like this. There are meat sticks that look a lot like this, but they look almost like sausages, like really long, skinny sausages. You can tell that there's like whatever has been packed into it, it's made up of small bits of stuff, as opposed to this. When you look at it, you can really tell that it's one solid piece of meat. It's one single article of an animal's body. It's not made up of multiple parts of an animal's body. It's one single thing. And the third being basically various animals. They'll take the digestive contents out, and they'll take the large and small intestines, and they'll stretch them out and dry them. And those can look a bit like these kind of things, and they can be really long, skinny, kind of dog chews you find in the pet store. The cheapest is a mystery meat, sausage-like stuff. I've never been comfortable with them because I really have no idea what's in there, and they've always struck me as just not something I wanted to try. They say the slaughterhouse and sausages being made are things that you don't want to see happening, and yeah, I think that kind of combines the two in some pretty bad characteristics that I don't want to consider what exactly that is. But some people like them. I don't. I'm fine without them. The bully sticks, these, and the digestive content sticks, those I'm more comfortable with feeding. The digestive content sticks, they don't last very long. they last longer than a like chicken foot or a sheep's ear or something like that, but they don't last anywhere near as long as a bully stick. They are lucky if they'll last like a third to half of what you might get from a bully stick, and I would be shocked if you got anywhere near a third, frankly. Sometimes you might only get like 10% of what you could get from a bully stick. So bully sticks, I mean, comparatively, as far as these kind of chews go, for something the dog can chew on for a while, they can swallow and eat and without any complications, is entirely digestible, isn't some mystery product. Bully sticks are pretty good, but they're not cheap. Frankly, what I want to see, and I've seen them do it with shorter, where they cut them into bits, like this is an 18-inch, like I said. You can get them when they're full lengths and 3-foot lengths. And what I want to see is somebody take a bunch of those 3-foot lengths, and before they dry them, braid them when they're still like soft enough to be able to maneuver, and braid them together, not just 3, like braid like 7 or 8 together or something, so you got like something like a baseball battery, and then dry that, and well, I'm sure that it would not be cheap. You're probably looking at about, just in basic pricing alone, somewhere between $300 and $500. But such a chew for a big dog like Benny would last forever, practically. I would imagine something like that would last for probably over a month or more of consistent chewing. So, I'm sure there's people for giant dogs who would pay those kind of prices just to get a chew that lasts like a bully stick does for smaller dogs, but that works for the bigger giants. But until they do, I only have these, the typical half canes, the 18 inches. If I go online, I can find 3-foot ones, and if I go to some stores, I might occasionally find a 3-foot one. But it's going to cost me a fair bit, at least $50 to $70 for a full length. And the only thing I've seen on the market is a 3-braided one that was 18 inches, and that was like $150 or something. But they were sold out, so I couldn't get any of the triple braid big long ones. I've had the shorter ones, and that's again why actually I want one of the full length ones that are braided as opposed to the bits, because whenever you get the cut up ones, it almost doesn't matter how long, even the 18 inch I found, because it didn't take them long before they got, especially with only a 3 braid, before they got it to the point where the braid came undone and you were just left with 3 small bully sticks. So for what you can get out of braiding bully sticks, a triple braid is always going to be able to come undone in these kind of circumstances. If you were to braid more more of whatever material items in other than just 3, and or if you used a specific locking braid style, one of those two. And there are locking 3-piece braid methods, but without using one of those 2 techs or ideas, there's no way to prevent the bully stick itself from coming undone from the braid once they chew on it a bit. So, for the time being, given the price and all involved, I end up more often than not just sticking with getting a big long bully stick and being happy with what I can get, even if it only lasts for a shorter time than I might have if I had a small dog. I made the choice for a big dog. I can't complain with what bed I'm in. I made my bed, I have to lie in it. But, if I could get my hands on a real braided bully stick like that, or if I could get my hands on the raw materials needed to make my own, and the resources or equipment necessary to dry something like that, which, trust me, would not be an easy or simple thing to do because of the sickness we're talking about. It would take a lot longer than your average bully stick to dry. But I know that it would be worth its weight in gold. Without a question. Knowing what I know about the market for bully sticks and whatnot, like, even though theoretically $500 for a chew toy seems really excessive, I not long ago made an order of almost $1,000 for like a dozen, and I was getting a bulk discount. Full-length bully stick canes from an online store. So, you know, if I am willing to lay odds that a braided like bully stick like I've described would last longer than that $1,000 order of bully sticks would have lasted. Now, admittedly, I ended up paying a lot less per bully stick than I would have if I bought it in pet store, but it still wasn't cheap. And considering that there are stores all over the place that make their living all the time without much difficulty on things like bully sticks and other such products, I don't see any reason why they couldn't make quite a nice profit on something like that. Until they do, I will satisfy myself with regular bully sticks. Though if I ever see that company produce a 3 braid bully stick in the full length ever again, I will jump on it in a heartbeat. Because even the 3 braid is still better than a single one when you're talking about something in a real long length. I mean, most dogs, if you put this bully stick in front of them, would barely have gotten anywhere started on the head that Benny is at right now. So, most dogs, you'd be looking at probably about an inch an hour. Maybe an inch every half hour, depending on the size of the dog. Benny can easily put out 2 or 3 inches of this in an hour, though. But frankly, in my opinion, given that I do batches where he has this for a bit and then I take it away, he doesn't actually end up getting all that much off of it per episode, but it lasts a lot longer. So I prefer to do shorter sessions with the bully stick to make it, again, last longer, and have way more individual sessions with it than give it to him for fewer sessions but a lot longer intervals, or even a little bit longer. Either way, the effect is still noticeable. So, like I said, I won't, and I don't, manners. It's okay. Good boy. I know. You heard that, didn't you? Good boy, yeah. He just heard something in the outside that caught his attention and distracted him for a moment from his beloved, glorious bully stick. It's funny how much dogs love bully sticks. And it's pretty universal, actually. It's funny, you can take a dog from China, from Australia, from the US, from the UK or Europe, to Canada, to Africa, to Antarctica, to the Arctic. It does not matter where from. And if you give them a bully stick, if they're a normal, sane dog,
they'll go absolutely apeshit crazy to get the chance to have one. Um, Frankly, if Benny ever didn't want a bully stick, I would legitimately say that there was something majorly wrong, either with that product, either with like there was something deadly infection or something infesting it, or Benny was some deadly illness. Like, I have yet to see a healthy, reasonable dog's eyes not absolutely light up at the sheer thought that a bully stick might be coming. Um, Aside from the sympathetic joy that occurs from seeing dogs get so much joy and excitement out of getting to chew on these things, there's also the added benefit that I understand that not everybody is going to get all excited about, and many people will probably be turned off, per se, from getting an otherwise really amazing product for their dog. Because let's make no two bits about this. Like I said, this is a single source product. It comes from one animal. It is made up of a single piece of a single body part. Like, there is no mixing of different body parts or different ingredients. This is all one one individual item or article. It's all digestible meat. It's relatively similar to just like beef jerky or whatever. It's not that different from if somebody had taken a big strip of beef jerky, like I would say take a big cow muscle or something, and stretch that out and dried it. You'd probably get a very similar effect to what this is. But that's a lot more work, and I don't know if you would get as much excitement from the dog. What I do know is that this does get the dog's excitement going. Anyways, but you notice that everybody will be using various euphemisms like a bully stick. That's the most common term, and if you go into most pet stores and say, I want a bully stick, you'll usually find that this is what you end up getting handed. Sometimes they're called a pizzle. P as in Papa, I as in Igloo, Z as in Zebra, Z as in Zebra, L as in Larry, E as in Echo. Basically, the long story short, they are a male bull's penis that has been cut off after the bull has been killed. And before, while they're slaughtering and butchering the bull, they take off its penis, and all the bull's penises that from the various herds of animals end up being sent to various processors, and different companies process and produce bully sticks. But what they do basically is they stretch it out as much as they can, and then they hang them up to dry until they're bone dry. And once they're totally dehydrated and dried out, they either chop them up, braid them, chop them up, braid them and sell them. But otherwise, they sell them off to the highest bidders, and eventually they make their way to pet stores, and people pay pretty decent change to get a chance to let their dog chew on a bull's penis. Well, some of you might get really freaked out by that thought, and some of you prudes who are freaked out about sex in general may find that to be just the most disgusting, absurd, insane thing. Some people might have the thoughts that there's some kind of sexual or perverted reason behind this. There isn't. It just so happens that the tissue of a bull's penis contains multiple pieces that, when dried and processed in that particular fashion, creates a very durable chew object. Frankly, even if you did get like top line jerky meat, like a raw um, beef muscle, I don't know, one of their muscle groups intact, and try to stretch that out and dry it like this, I doubt it would be as durable because there's several tissues that are only found in the penis that are especially tough and especially durable and designed to, even under moisture, be incredibly durable and incredibly resilient. So, in addition, the various hormones and odors that are naturally occurring in this body region also add, for many dogs, a lot of flavor or odor that they find particularly attractive. But for whatever reason, our canine friends, they just absolutely go crazy for bull's dick. I'm not trying to be crude. I'm not trying to, freak anybody out. But that's the truth. It's basically a cow's penis, or a bull's penis. I'm not sure. A cattle's penis. I'm not sure if cow refers strictly to females, and bulls refers strictly to males. But either way, the males of the species of bovine that humans have domesticated, their penises, turns out, make some of the best dog chews money can buy. I mean, you've seen Benny now go through quite a lot of different treats, and it's hard to argue with the fact that he has been working quite intensely. Yeah, good boy, Ben. On getting this chewed as best as he can, and to get to getting hunks of meat off of this in the best of his abilities for nearly a half hour. And frankly, he's probably just starting to get the head of it, to the point where he can pull a few pieces off. Yeah, he's barely got through maybe relatively a half inch of it. He's starting to, he's working, he's getting his way through, and if you let him, he'll be done this in a couple of hours. Probably won't last more than 4 or 5 hours, but one, I don't want him to eat it all in one sitting. Two, I want to show other ways that this can be used, and I want to make this last for as long as possible for him so that he gets the most joy out of it. And three, I'm just a cruel, heartless man, and I insist on practicing our trading and giving up prized objects. Now, obviously, this is important no matter what the dog is eating, whether it's eating frozen, whether it's eating defrosted, fresh, raw, whether it's eating cooked, whether it's eating commercial food, whether it's eating a dry or wet. It really doesn't matter what the dog is eating. It's always important that the dog has access to clean, fresh water at all times. If for whatever reason they don't have a whole big bowl full of clean, fresh water going at that moment, like they finished half of it, or they've, God forbid, finished all of it, immediately it should be filled back up and with lots more fresh water. There should be more fresh water than the dog needs. You're not trying to provide just the barest minimum to meet whatever the dog's basic requirements are. So, if you find that the bowl's empty most of the time, you should be filling it more. But when you're feeding treats like these kind of things, like bully sticks and whatnot, which are meant to be used over a longer period, and that are dry treats, it becomes even more important that you ensure the dog has a ready supply of clean, fresh water they can drink at any time. Yeah, you're a good boy, aren't you? Yeah. What a good boy. You just wanted a scratch, I know. Says, I love my bully stick, but can I get some love and a bully stick? For the purposes of this video, pardon me. For the purposes of this video, I'll be using Timbits as our exchange treat. Yeah, what's that? So I'm gonna get Benny to let me take away the bully stick, and once he gives it up fully, yeah, good boy. Good.